Hey guys, welcome back to the 10th episode of Haven. How long do we have until the sun comes up? Carcat asks, looking at the graying ceiling. At least 3 hours. Plenty of time. Solix, you know where he is? Terezi replied. Yeah. Well then, you're with me. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think that would work out too well. You know what they say. Huh? About the blind leading the blind? There was a quiet, awkward pause. Wait, you're not. It was Eridan, a few days ago. Kanai killed him after. Oh, was all she said for a moment. I can still find it, though. Zahalak's place. Good. How are you dealing with it? I'll manage. That's good to hear. Hanging around me a little longer. I'll show you what you need to know. She grinned and then stood up. What are we waiting for? Wait, what about Jade? Kanai asked, jerking her head in the direction of the bedroom. We can't bring her. She isn't changed, and it would just draw attention, Carcat said rather grumpily. John turned and walked to the bedroom, pushing open the door to find Jade sprawled out on the bed, face smashed into the pillows. He shook her shoulder. What's it? She asked without opening her eyes. We're going out for a couple of hours. Stay here, okay? There's food in the cupboard if you're hungry, or whatever. Okay, she replied, over, and was snoring within 10 seconds. John found a black and gray striped sweatshirt lying on the floor and pulled it on. They exited the room, closing the door softly behind them. The group was waiting for him. Solix's arm wrapped around Carcat's, Terezi with her ridiculous teal and red ensemble, and Kanai in a long black coat that John suspected held several concealed weapons. They exited the candy shop and began walking to the right, per Solix's directions. Terezi kept sighing as she had to slow down her extremely fast pace, jog, so John, Carcat, and Solix could catch up. Other than that, they kept the noise to a minimum as they wound their way through the alleys, buildings, and around the city. John was impressed by Solix's memory. He knew that he could never remember this many twists and turns without seeing them, but without fail, Solix led them to the right spot. They stood in the middle of what was probably once a textile factory of some sort. The rusted and ancient machines loomed over them. The air was thick with dust, and though there was no one else around, John swore he could hear faint clicking noise coming from somewhere below. Solix stood in the middle of the room. Is the door behind me? Yeah. He pointed to the right. That way. The group advanced, weaving through the still machines until they reached the back wall. There was a set of double doors, which Carcat and Terezi pulled open. There was a rush of musty air as the doors opened to reveal a staircase leading down into the inky blackness. Solix reached out and grabbed Carcat's wrist again, tugging him forward. Let's go, but be quiet. The look on Carcat's face made it all the clearer that he thought going down the shady-looking staircase was a very bad idea, but he proceeded anyway. John was the last to enter, sparing a glance in the dusty room behind him, which suddenly seemed more and more friendly and welcoming, but still turned and followed his friends as they began their descent. John was on the 5th step when the doors slowly swung shut. Everyone paused. It was suddenly pitch black. What? Terezi said as she nearly ran into Carcat. The door closed. We can't see anything. Terezi giggled. Well, that's no excuse to stop. Here, grab on, all of you. John could hear jostling as Terezi switched positions with Carcat to take the lead. John reached his hand forward until he came in contact with Kanai's shoulder, then grabbed on. Everyone here? Terezi asked. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Those who are overly dependent on eyes, careful not to trip. They continued onward down the staircase, as Carcat put it, like a fucking conga line on a stairway of death. John managed to only trip twice, which was a major achievement considering how he normally functioned without vision, and thankfully Kanaya was quick enough on her feet not to stumble forward into Solix. A domino effect would be even less help than usual in this particular situation. After about 15 minutes of muttering, "Fuck," and "That's my foot, dumbass," and don't trip," the five of them stood at the beginning of the long, dark hallway. The clicking and tinkering noises John had heard earlier were more pronounced. What was it Zahak did again? John wondered, thinking back to the conversation with Carquette on the roof several months ago. Oh yeah, he remembered. Robotics. "We go down this hallway," Solix said, and they all began to walk forward, their steps echoing around the walls. The ceiling was high and crisscrossed with rafters. They were halfway down the hallway when Solix suddenly stopped. "Watch out for the cat girl," he whispered. "What?" "The cat girl. She's gonna come. Be careful." "What the hell are you—" Carquette began, then abruptly stopped because a figure had just dropped from the rafters above and landed in a crouch in front of him. Carquette leapt backwards into Kanaya, who pushed him back upright. John could see the silhouette of a figure over Carquette's head as he straightened up. But it was hardly a different size. They couldn't be more than 4 feet tall. "Who are you?" Her voice was soft and whispery, yet childlike. "It's me," Solix answered. "We're here to see him." The girl giggled, but it wasn't a sweet sound, more like the kind of giggle you would hear echoing around an empty house in a chilled horror movie. "It is you, but you're very different." "There's something missing." All John could see there were the glowing eyes. They moved closer. "Who stole your eyes? Was it the prince? Did he take your eyes? You deserved it, you know, messing around with her. Who do you think you are? You know that everyone you touch dies. Did you not learn your lesson the first time around? I know why you came here." Solix's hand was laced around Carquette's arm, and he was gripped so tight his knuckles had turned white. "Hey, back off!" Kanaya had stepped between the two of them, looming over the cat girl. "I know about you too," she crooned. Judging by her voice, she couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. But what she was saying was beyond what a normal child could. "I know that you killed him. You sliced him into bits, and the worst part was that you liked it. That's what's scaring you. You actually liked it." Kanaya's face had paled, and she swung out at the child with her fist, but suddenly the girl was swinging by the rafter above. "You can't catch me," she said in a sing-song voice. Terezi scowled and placed a hand on Kanaya's shoulder. "Leave her alone. Let's keep going." "Let's keep going," the girl echoed, swinging back and forth, not by her arms or legs, but what seemed to be a mechanical tail producing from the back of her jacket. "She's not usually this bad," Solix said, shaking slightly. They continued on, trying to ignore the presence of the girl, who was now standing and running lightly on the rafters above their head. John could tell that Carquette was nearly reaching his breaking point as the girl began to hum a string of insults. He finally stopped wheeling around and staring up at the ceiling. "Okay, freak, listen up. You need to shut the fuck up or get down here right now. What is your problem?" She did a dainty leap and landed in front of him. "My problem? I don't have a problem, but you do. I know your secret. I know that you're going to—" "Shut up!" Carquette screamed, his face becoming flushed, hands balled into fists. "We're almost there, okay? Just ignore her," John said, pulling at Carquette's shoulder with one hand and dragging Solix forward with the other. Kanaya was wide-eyed and silent, Terezi grim. John charged forward, breaking into a run as they reached the end of the hallway. They turned into the large room. The cat girl scuttled past them and ran forward until she was out of sight. John's eyes were wide as he looked around the room. It was dimly lit by flickering fluorescent lights, and the entered room filled with rows of metal tables and benches. Each table was piled high with metal parts, hundreds of screws in neat boxes, scrap metal, and carefully welded joints discarded left and right. The group moved forward, weaving through the tables until they reached the source of the noise. Sorry guys, I'm really tired today. Zahak was in the center of one of the tables, gently tapping at what looked to be a kneecap with a huge mallet, using precision that would seem impossible for someone his size. He was the tallest troll that John had seen so far, even though he didn't look too much older than any of the others. His arms were bulky and his hands huge but gentle. His hair was pulled back into a sloppy ponytail, and he wore cracked glasses. Just then the cat girl appeared, leaping lightly onto the table. "What is it, Nepeta?" he asked. "We have guests. Do you think they would like tea?" Equius looked up. "I thought I told you the deal was off, Captor." Zolok stiffens. That's not why we're here," Terezi answered. "Instead, we need information on Mindfang." "Mindfang? Why are you coming to me?" Don't patronize me. I'm the reason she lost her arm, you know." Zahak smiled, his black lips opening to reveal rows of broken teeth. "I'm aware. Quite the pair you were. Things got so quiet after you two matured a little. Where is she?" Terezi's glare was cold. "What? You can't find her?" Nepeta crooned, lightly hopping onto the table and crossing her legs. "The great bounty hunter can't even find one little—" Equius held his hand up, silencing her. "I'm not at liberty to reveal her location. We have a deal, and it would be within our best interests to hold up to our side of the bargain." "Oh?" Terezi said, as she began pacing slowly in front of the table, the rest held back, watching her. "What's she offering you?" "Safety, security. Everyone knows you're here." "Not necessarily. This is the largest crowd we've had in years, and besides, I owe her my life." "I thought you'd repaid that debt already. You saved her. You gave her an arm. You let her lose again." "I did not. Don't tell me that you didn't know exactly where she was going. If you let her loose on me, remember? If it was anyone that you should still owe a debt to, it's me. I have yet to create robotic eyes, unfortunately for the both of you. But it's really about my arrangement with Mindfang anymore. I thought you were stone cold, Red Glare. But I see you still harbor resentment." "We can see right through you," Nepeta added, tilting her head to the side, smiling. "You're too scared to do anything, too scared to fight back, too scared to even take her arm. You made Mindfang Megardo do it, and killed her. It messed up everyone, that's what it did. All because you were scared of spilling a little blue blood." Terezi had stopped pacing. Her hands were clasped firmly behind her back. "Hey," Karkat said, stepping forward. "I think we should go. If he's not going to tell us, he's not going to tell us. Let's not fuck with this stuff anymore." He reached forward, grabbing Terezi's elbow, and pulled her back. "Yeah, let's." Kanai began, but Solix stepped forward in front of her. "Wait, what did you say about Aradia?" John saw a subtle glance pass between Kanai and Karkat. Then both of them turned to Solix. Nepeta didn't answer, just stared at him. "I said," Solix repeated, "what did you say about Aradia?" His stare was blank, but not quite facing her. But John could see that he had tensed up. "Just something that I heard," Nepeta said, softly rolling the R's. "You wonder why it happened, right?" Solix gave a slight nod, his jaw clenched. "Megardo was the one who took the spider's arm. It wasn't pretty, but Mindfang had already killed too much. Megardo and Red Glare were a team for a while. It was Red Glare's idea initially. The whole plan involved two people. Seamless. But that the slight chance of retaliation. Red Glare was all set when she got scared. Tripped up a little." Croquette squeezed Teresa's elbow, obviously telling her not to interject. She blacked out, ran away, left Magardo. Teresa was shaking her head slowly, but making no noise. And your precious Aradia wasn't stupid, but she was headstrong, though she could pull it off without repercussions. Well, she went ahead with the genius little plan. Before you know it, Mindfang's lying in a pool of blood. She wouldn't have killed anyone, Solok said, beginning to shake a little. It was never meant to kill, just to hurt her a teeny bit. Nepeta giggled, clearly enjoying every bit of storytelling. Equia's face was stone-faced and silent. Mindfang lived, and she wasn't stupid. Aradia, being the only one who carried out the plan made it painfully obvious what would happen next. A warning was sent to Red Glare. Teresa's hand shot up to cover her eyes. And I think you know the rest. That is enough. Kanaya stepped forward and yanked Solix away from the table, pulling him down the hallway. John quickly followed, Teresa and Karkat behind him. There was someone who has the information you need, Equia said, just loud enough for Teresa and Karkat to hear. They turned. The sylph knows everything. Karkat pulled Teresa out of the room. A faint tinkering sound could be heard as Equius got back to work. Their journey back was in complete silence. John felt like an outsider, having nothing to do with any of the events that had been thoroughly examined back in the horrible dark room. They arrived back at the candy shop just in time, the sky becoming slightly lighter. Jade was still asleep on Kanaya's bed, and John was exhausted, but he knew it wasn't the right time to check out. Solix had disappeared into the side room the moment they had arrived, and Teresa was sitting on the edge of the couch, head in her hands. That's not what happened. That's not how it happened. I didn't run away. I didn't think she would go through with it, she was saying quietly. Karkat was sitting next to her, looking visibly upset, but had also no clue on how to deal with her. It wasn't your fault, Kanaya said, her voice calm. Aradia was being rash. She should have waited for you. Teresa shook her head, hard enough to cause her glasses to fall to the floor. I've killed a lot of people. I thought it was okay growing up here, but I never meant to kill my friend. Karkat reached over and wrapped his arm around her shoulders. She remained with her head in her hands, not saying a word. John got up and wandered to the other room, trying to clear his head of the fact that most of the people living with him had killed another person at some point in their short teenage lives. But what he found instead was a break with Solix. He's sitting in the corner with his legs drawn up to his chest. John froze. Should he leave discreetly? Is someone there? Solix asked, his voice muffled. Yeah, it's just me. I'll go if... Nah, it's fine. I don't want to be around them either. He raised his head, turning around to the general direction John was standing. Piece of shit teardrops still work? Solix muttered. Yeah, was the only thing John could think of to reply. You can sit down if you haven't already. I seriously don't care. John slid into a sitting position, his back against the wall. If you don't mind me asking, how long ago did she die? Aradia? It was about 2 years ago, I think. I don't really know. Time seems to mesh all together in here. This is just the first time it's been mentioned. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a pause. John started at the crack in the off-white ceiling. I don't think I can talk about it yet. Maybe when Mindfang is... I don't know. I'm sorry, I sound stupid right now. It's fine. I'm still getting used to the fact that you guys all kill each other here, John said, sighing slightly. It's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Solix chuckled. You know, in my short time here, I spent thinking about my future. In my short time I spent thinking about my future, I never even considered that I would end up here. Yeah, John said. Me neither. And that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like down below and look forward to the next episode, which should be coming next week. See you guys.